Okay, so we played Phoenix with Winternight Stories. I thought Winternight Stories looked really good, and I thought Phoenix as an archetype is like pretty slow and interactive in a format where its interaction just isn't that good. Like the Lightning Bolt and Force of Negation stuff just doesn't feel like it lines up very well against the format. So I think if you're going to want to play this card, I think pairing it in a faster aggro deck is going to be where you want to go. And I put it in the Hollow One deck here. Yeah, time for other Phoenix. 3 mana, draw 3, then discard a card unless you discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. You're not going to want to do that mode that often, although top decking it sometimes is going to be pretty powerful. You're mostly going to play it for the Harmonized cost from the graveyard. I'm playing Winter Nights and Zoo. Yeah, I'm also pretty intrigued in Winter Nights in decks like Zoo that can discard it for value incidentally and play a bunch of high power creatures. No Sharky? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I don't know how I overlooked the Sharko. We're definitely get the shark in there. Was it supposed to be over the Fomos? I think it was supposed to be over the Fomos. Even if we don't figure out much more about this deck, like understanding more about Winternight Stories is going to be important for continuing to work on the card. Our opponent was last seen playing Mono Green Devotion. Finally, a good mill matchup. They sure did unban Faithless Looting. I was a little bit worried Modern would turn into all this. I'm pretty thankful it didn't. Is there a way to play Hollow One Winternight Frog? The thing is, like Hollow One, you just really need these red spells, I think. So we mill a crab. We mill a phoenix. Sorry, we mill a Vengevine off the crab, and we mill a phoenix. I guess I'm going to start off with the Detective's Phoenix so they can't wake up with a surgical. Have I explored Enchantress United Battlefront? Not yet. United Battlefront still... Or I guess it's kind of like the last card I haven't cast yet. I think I'm just going to attack first. This is... yeah, this is 11. So if they don't block anything, I can pump the Rootwalla, put them to 1. And then just Lightning Bolt means even if somehow they mill my entire deck here, or put them to 2, even if they somehow mill my entire deck, I'm just going to be able to bolt them on my upkeep. Snacker is pretty good with Winternight Stories, although I do kind of hate that card after really trying it. I agree, Hollow Frog. We've played Hollow Frog before. Not trying to slow roll anybody or show them more of what my deck looks like. Hear me out. Kona Rescue Beastie plus Winternight Stories. Kona was pretty bad when we tried it. I really want to try to avoid putting Sneaky Snacker into any more decks. Yeah, so as far as United Battlefront Enchantress goes, one big issue is that a big part of like a lot of the powerful cards in Enchantress are creatures. Sithis and Sanctum Weaver are really important. They're really important to be able to put into play. So missing those is a really big deal. A lot of the enchantments that Winternight Stories wants you, or not Winternight Stories, United Battlefront wants you to put into play suck. Like Solemnity, Unlife, the one that like prevents all damage, you have to discard a card on your upkeep. These cards I don't like very much. Blood Moon's okay. Blood Moon's okay if you can get Blood Moon in there. So when I'm thinking about United Battlefront, one card I really want to try to put in there is Lotus Bloom. Not in an Enchantress deck so much, but I'm kind of interested in trying to like storm off with Lotus Bloom somehow with United Battlefront and Pearl Medallion and Kyla's Reconstruction. Has been the thought I've had, and I haven't sat down to build it because it almost definitely doesn't work. But I just haven't been very excited about the other ways you could build the card. Battlecry, Winternight Stories, aggro. Yeah, this card could be better than Stock Up in the Winternight in the Battlecry deck. Any Elf Brews in the docket? I was thinking about Nature's Rhythm in the Elves deck. I'm gonna end. Every time I start to work on Elves lately, I get pretty discouraged. But maybe one day. Yeah, I played against someone who was playing Estrid's Invocation with United Battlefront, and they were doing what you're describing, playing a bunch of ETB enchantments. The problem is, it seemed like all the ETB enchantments sucked. Like the deck looked pretty bad. Just putting it bluntly. Yeah, 2 cards in their hand here. There's a Vengevine. Well, I guess I want to save the Rootwalla for my lonely Vengevine. Wow, they drew another one of these for turn, I guess, or cycled into it. Now I have 2 Vengevines. Now I have 0 Vengevines. How was the Blue-Red Cutter deck? Honestly, like, we might play that today again, because I don't really remember. We were playing it between rounds of the challenge, and I don't feel like I had a very good impression of it after that in between the round thing. So they pop this so I can't bestow the Phoenix. They have no cards in their hand. Technically a 3-turn clock. Okay, so this is just a draw 1 because they just exiled my graveyard. And then they started to pay cost, and then they stopped. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, guess that's what that was about. Maybe I should have just Goblin Lord last turn, because there's not a huge difference between 9 and 12 cards in the deck here. We turn on the 2-mana mill 10, but okay, well. Fair enough. Vengevine is in the yard for whatever that's worth. Graveyard another land. Yeah, maybe need to test the Devoted Druid deck too. Okay, now we're dead to a fetch land thanks to my Goblin Loring. That really did not... It was just 5 lands in a row. They have 2 cards in their hand. There's the fetch land. Game 3. Operion with 18 months. Thank you. Welcome back, my friend. Do you care about the NFL draft? No, I don't really watch the NFL these days. I used to be really into fantasy football, but the only sport I've been following is the NBA. It'd be nice to go to a Cowboys game every once in a while. I know Doomwake is a big Cowboys fan despite living in Boston or near Boston. I saw someone playing with Spreading Seas and Momentum Breaker. What is Momentum Breaker? Each opponent sacks a creature vehicle. Each opponent who can't discards a card. Yeah, I think that I played against that too in the Estrid's Invocation deck. Well, we're the ones going to 5 this time. They're on a 6-card mulligan. Okay, let's keep this hand. Let's put back Inquiry and the second Winternight. Any reason you moved off card in the Battlecryer deck? Yeah, several reasons. Karn, you know, is a card that was good when you're comboing, but if you move away from Karn and you play stock up and you play the dragon instead, you can still combo, but you also can just draw your cards in different orders. You can have draws where you dragon, copy dragon with Phyrexian Metamorph. They surgical my shark. Okay, I love that they're surgicaling a card that doesn't care about the graveyard. Now we're both on a mulligan to 5, kind of. The Hellraiser has been very good in the deck. Even in like turns where you're comboing and fizzling, a lot of times you just kill 2 of their lands and you have 20 power in play, and it's not like an infinite combo, but that's going to be good enough to win a huge chunk of the time so far. Let's graveyard that. We might get archive trapped here. Nice. So they go after the looting. So I can bait the Lantern Crack by activating the Rootwalla. Although it seems like they have another surgical with this pause. Maybe they would surgical the stories. I don't know, maybe this isn't correct to cast. Seems okay. So they Tasha's me, they hit only 11 cards, so not too scary. They still have that draw step pause. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have, probably shouldn't have played this, actually. Don't really get punished. Any room for a land cycler? Not really. It's so awkward on your curve if you ever have to land cycle. Alright, so they're down to 10. We've got lethal next turn. Spider multi 5. Have you ever brewed with Hatching Plans and Besiege the Mirror? I know I have brewed with Hatching Plans. It's been a long time, like since before I was a streamer. So the problem with Besiege the Mirror is there's the best thing that you can get off of it is Restore Balance. I don't really think there's any other card in the format that you're like that is a good payoff for Besiege the Mirror. It's not like you have okay, there is Gaia's Will, but if Yawgmoth's Will, you know, or Gaia's Will, like, are not very strong in formats without Lion's Eye Diamond or Dark Ritual. See, I just don't think there's a lot of reason to play Besiege. The only good Besiege deck I've played has been the Restore Balance shell. Belcher, yeah, but hitting Belcher could be okay. But then it's pretty tough to play Besiege and Belcher. You're probably just better off being mono red instead. Necrodominance is also okay. I'm sure it's okay, but Profane Tutor I think is just the better tutor in those shells anyways. They draw a card off the Lantern after playing Crab plus Mill. I think their last card is probably like a 3-mana Mill spell that they realize is just not going to be able to defeat me. And might have been that. But they're dead on board and they're tapped out, which is not a great place to be. They were last seen playing Brood Scale, which is interesting. Might be a little slow against Brood Scale. Got a turn 1 halfling. Let's go for a Burning Inquiry here when we don't have anything. I guess we could discard the Winternight, but... That's not bad. That's not bad. Dude, looting is a pretty crazy card. What's crazy is with the Winternight, we just still have so much gas in the tank too. Well, we want some combination of these 12 cards. This is kind of one problem with Broodscale is your deck is kind of weak to sideboard cards, but who plays those, right? Consign is very tough to hold up. I feel like I just kind of want to... Maybe I want to be leading into, like, the Grudges a bit more. Maybe we'll play, like, 2 Heat, 3 Grudge. A lot of times I look to the Phoenixes to cut, because even though they're strong, they're like, a little bit... I don't know what word I'm looking for. They're a little bit unnecessary, maybe. Comes from a Vengevine and a Wraith. Oh, wait. Sorry, I meant to play 3 Grudge. There we go. I want to run a challenge run an FNM where I never sideboard. Well, you can cheese that challenge by playing the Ugin deck we played yesterday. Just all Karn sideboard. Isn't Heat better than Bolt here? No, Bolt's better. Their creatures are pretty small, right? So it's like Glaring Fleshraker, Broodscale. They have 2 or 3 toughness. And Lightning Bolt can target more than just players or creatures. It can target your opponent's face too. In Prowess is there debate for Out by Moon, proactive card versus Consign reactive. Well, you could also phrase it this way. In Prowess is debate for Out by Moon, shitty card versus Consign, great card. You know what I mean? Like, Out by Moon sucks. The card is just not good. It's just not playable. I train Wraith personally. It's good, but ultimately air past turn 1, turn 2. It's not. It's like air that grows your creatures and discards your hollow ones and enables Phoenix, although we are less in on Phoenix. Or we cut our Phoenixes. It's like Manamorphose and Storm, you know. Okay, so they rumble over a Ballista, a Fleshraker, and a Broodscale. Phoenix seems so important to infinite jump blockers. Is that how we feel about this deck? Maybe it is. So there's a Winternight Stories that I can't flash back. I guess I probably should have actually discarded the Rootwalla, huh? Although I might end up finding Ancient Grudge and wanting to save the Rootwalla for the Vengevines. Although both for Eldrazi. Yeah, if I'm Eldrazi and my opponent boards an Out by Moon against me, like I'm definitely happy. Okay, this time they rumble and they just hit another Broodscale or a Vista. They choose the Vista. Yeah, maybe Phoenix is good. I mean, Phoenix is good, but... Ooh. Let's see if we Inquiry Broodscale away. Ooh. That's pretty good. So opponent has to chump block with one of their infinite chump blockers. One thing that's a little bit interesting here is that if I grudge the blade first, I'm not going to be able to grudge the cage. Is there a way in this deck to remove Black Leyline? The easiest way is to make a gigantic shark and then kill your opponent with it. Besides that, no. So I kill this, then they adapt, but there's no token in play. And I can try to surveil for Delirium. I think I'm just going to grudge the blade instead. If you tap red-green, you deny the possibility to cast Grudge Flashback. Well, the Grafdigger's Cage that's in play is already denying the ability to flashback Grudge. Yeah, I know they get a token from adapting. Oh, right, sorry. They get the token from... Yeah, you're right. No, that we would have just died, right? For some reason, I was thinking that they would have to equip again, but of course not. So I do have Delirium now. So we might as well... Should we... I guess we might as well kill the blocker. What's a little bit annoying is they're going to get to like block and then adapt. This also puts our opponent to 1, which is unfortunately not 0. How good would Wildfire? Wildfire is a lot better than Wildfire is a lot better than Alpine Moon. Consign is nuts. It's the best sideboard card. I feel like you should just against them. I think you should just be playing it. It's also a versatile sideboard card too. Okay, so exile my Marco Sharko, and chat was definitely right about the infinite chump blocker dynamic. It seems. Do you think Brood-Scale is better as a Mox Opal deck? I've played it a lot as a Mox Opal deck. I don't think I can say that it's better that way, though. That hasn't really been my experience. It's I'd say it's looked better without it, just in the hands of other people. Which I think is a lot of people were very concerned that Brood-Scale would be the Mox Opal deck to replace Breach, or it would be like, it'd be pretty scary, but seems to not be the case. Okay, they should equip here, right? So really punished for not playing my land last turn. I was saving it for looting. But we have Miss Lethal. Is there a way to make Steel Cutter work in this shell? I think probably not. Could have saved Hollow and Haste next turn. Well, against an opponent who's got a Blade in play, I want to try to kill them. I've got an Arena of Glory. I have a lot of lethal top decks, so I just have too many lethal top decks to not cycle there, I think. And this is one of them. Hollow one looking pretty good. It was Besage. Okay. I looked back at it. I also thought it was a woodland. Obviously, they look pretty similar. All right. Time to spin. Just noticed the Kihira reveal. I came here to cast this card. Die, Vengevine! Go to the graveyard! I hate you, Vengevine! I don't yet. You're welcome, opponent. The best deck probably is still some Ovaltamo Emery Shell. The best deck. So y'all are still saying that the best deck in Modern is probably an Opal Tomio Emery Shell, despite these decks not doing well. It kind of goes with to support my theory is that no Modern player ever changes their opinion on anything, no matter what is happening in the real world. It's just entirely. I already formed my opinion months ago. You want me to change it? I do think the Narset shell is pretty promising, just to support your guys a little bit. What a weird game. Yeah, finally got the Vengevine in the yard. Surprised that Eldrazi is not the best deck in the format. I think that there isn't a clear de facto best deck. You could make a good argument for Boros, Eldrazi, Titan, Storm. You can make an argument for Belcher maybe. I do think Belcher is kind of underrated. It's at least one that comes to mind here. I think I'm just gonna flashback a Winternight Stories. If my opponent hardcasts Solitude in response, it's just kind of a nightmare. Alright, so I want to hold this Rootwalla for the Vengevines. Fruitcake 32, welcome back. With the challenge results in Dragonstorm, Energy is clearly winning a lot. I agree, Energy is clearly doing very well. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best deck, because like the metagame is very much changing a lot. You can make an argument for Prowess being the best deck too, even. But I think the top deck at the moment does seem to be Boros. I do agree with that. Well, I guess we'll cast this. Get snared. Pass. One thing is, like, I think it's gotta be Titan, because it's just like Titan is good against Boros and Titan is good against Eldrazi. And so Titan seems to be good against the top decks, and just even try to get my bias accounted for. I think I want to flashback looting instead of stories here. It's fine if they counter that. Yeah, I would say it's good that Energy's the best deck. There's definitely like a lot of strategies that, you know, we know, oh, dude, this is a brutal draw. They find Wrath Disguise. I need to top deck a creature or a bolt. I guess I have the Phoenix, actually. They have Orum's Chant. No! Bolt. Yes. Would I play in an RC tomorrow? Well, I would be sorely underprepared for the RC if the RC was tomorrow. They reveal a counterspell here. I would be pretty interested in working on the Abzan deck, the Jeskai Ascendancy deck, to see like how good those are. The colorless Ugin deck has been really good. Yeah, I would maybe just spend some time learning Amulet Titan too. Do I see any deck as problematic? Not, I mean, yes, but not really. Yes and no. Surprised they didn't already Gaia Reach. No, not a counterspell. So Solitude, exile here, or exile here rather. Block, block. So for me to kill Narset, I have to send everything at it. It just doesn't seem correct. Wow, no blocks. So I get hit for 4, down to 6. And then they just untap. They have a third Solitude? Fourth Solitude, actually. They do have the fourth Solitude. They have to exile this to save the Narset. better. So they discard a Wrath of Skies. Yeah, I don't understand Misrise Village. I mean, they have a Triome, I guess. Doesn't seem very important card, to be honest. Time to tell a story. So I've already discarded one card because of the Gaia Reach. Well, I guess I'm just discarding. No, I'll discard these two. Cast Hollow 1 for 0. Then I'll flash back the stories. Then we'll discard the Rootwalla, which should bring back the Vengevine, although my opponent has a good chance to verdict me. Nice. Winternight Stories has looked great all league. I love that we're like 3 weeks into set release and we're like, oh, this card we haven't really spent much time with is going great. Wow. Luck like this to play around the likely verdict. No Supreme Verdict is obviously not a problem. They're going to kick an Orm's Chant. Well, it means we can't do anything. Guess we could cycle this, but let's just pass. That's the 4th Orm's Chant or the 3rd? They've used all 4 Orm's Chant and all 4 Solitudes. They find a Scepter, but there should be no chance left. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 4? 1, 2, 3. Playing Dora the Explorer over here. I had counted 4 again. Counterspell. So I want to discard 2 cards here. So I can Vengevine. Although I guess we should go... Creature card. Bring back 2 Vengevines. Bestowing doesn't count as casting a creature. Koji with the 56. Thank you. Welcome back. Wouldn't it have been good to just discard 2 cards to give both Hall's Haste? Yeah, that would have been good too. They had no cards in their hand, but yeah, that might have been more damage. Very cool to outgrind just blue-white control like that. 4 Orm's Chant, 4 Solitude. Grudge to break the lock, or is that unnecessary? I think it's a little narrow, but it could be okay. They're probably not playing very many Scepters. It might literally be 1 Scepter. Yeah, Narset was very scary. It's another reason to like keep the bolts in. Keeps a card on top here. Stay with me. Hollow 1. Go into play. Discard this card. Okay, we'll take this. Close enough. Almost to nuts if we discarded this too. I don't know how they have Triome and Double Surveil Land and the Teamer lands cards encounter 1. Ooh, that's good. This is good for me because now I get to bring back the Vengevine. Discard 1, 2. Oh no! Ugh. I forgot about stupid Teferi. Stopping Rootwalla. Should have bolted first. Been a little while. Not a lot of Teferis. Okay, I can discard Rootwalla. I might still discard Rootwalla. No, let's discard these two. Is Madness casting? It's casting, yeah. That's why it triggers the Vengevines. You know, I gotta spin the wheel here. You know, I might not discard the Rootwalla. Oh, Hasting the Shark isn't that good anyways if we don't do this. Yeah, we should have bolted the Teferi last turn. I always thought Hollow was some glass cannon archetype that I saw this game. Yeah, the deck is weirdly consistent and resilient. It does like something a little bit different every game, but it very consistently draws a lot of cards. It continues to draw a lot of cards and put a lot of creatures into play every game. Let me in. Why didn't they chant in response to the lore? I don't know. Okay, there's a verdict. Pretty sure we start with an inquiry in these spots. Force. Okay, they have one card in their hand. I guess I'm going to go discard a Winternight and a Looting. Because I really need to have the Phoenix in hand if they play a Narset. And I might just need the creature for the Vengevine anyways. They reveal another copy of Narset, which is a little annoying. Card's very good against us. Definitely don't want to draw that into the Narset. Go, my pet, go. I was not a Winternight Stories believer when I started discussing the PowerPoint. Changed my mind. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear someone changes their mind on something. Did they brick? Hold on. They did brick. That's good news. Yeah, I mean it's just like a draw spell that can cost 1 from the graveyard. And I liked it. I liked it in the Phoenix list, but the Phoenix list was just not very well positioned. That's as mean as I can be to Phoenix, is calling it not very well positioned. Kahira in the hand, definitely like that. Die, Narset, die. No. I guess I'm gonna play out a fetch land. They find a rest in peace. Alright, we might have to settle this in game 3. Could draw a Vengevine, Lightning Bolts. It's probably the most fun card to draw here. This deck is missing an Ox or something like that. How about a Winternight Stories for something like that? How about 4 Winternight Stories? So I could cast the Stories here. I feel like I want to be able to discard the Scalding Tarn to it, though. Especially because I can't flash it back. Ox is a nice tool in meta 6 like this, though. Probably as one of... I think it is just almost definitely worse than Winternight Stories. Like, they do a very similar thing, but this is just, like, easier to cast earlier, cheaper to cast later. Doesn't make you exile a ton of cards, better in multiples. Okay, Prismatic Ending. I was worried they had top decked a Verdict. I guess we don't need to get very fancy here. You can ace an Ox. I mean, it's not that there are no upside stocks. What would you cut? What would you cut to play an Ox? All right, nice counterspell, Solitude, Ending, Snare, Verdict to Fairy, Double Chant, Second Verdict, Force Negation, Narset, Solitude, Narset, Counterspell, Narset, Ending. Rest in peace. You're gonna have to do better than that. You're gonna have to do better than that. All right, let's get that trophy prediction going. I assume it's a city in Mexico, or sorry, California. All right, I would keep the Shark if we didn't have just Arena as our only land here. Hitachi gifting us up to just Sky Control. Thank you. Okay, on the draw gets a basic island. We could have a very, very good turn next turn if we draw a land. GG's, Drew. Fuck. Merfolk! Arena of Glory, much worse than Basic Mountain, I guess. It was you, I see. Well, congrats. Did you see a Phoenix player top 32'd? It was me. Yeah, somehow we're 3-0 in the Merfolk bracket, not complaining. What can you do? Do you think the Merfolk matchup is probably fine? All right. To game 2 we go. CB Fair spike up to one lander with the Arena of Glory. I mean, this was you wanted to mulligan this on 6. You could it's an easy keep, right? I want 2 Grudge for their sideboard cards. But maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what Merfolk sideboards look like if they're on Chalice these days. Chalice is really good against us. I feel like I should probably have these. I also, like, we could go more in on removal spells, but their creatures are so much worse than my creatures. No offense. I think I'm just going to play the bolts. You're going to mold to 5. You're honestly ridiculous to mold that to 5. Like, ridiculous. Like, the hand even functions on one land, just not if the one land gets destroyed. Was there a way to win? I mean, if we drew a land the following turn, I could have gone looting, bring back a Vengevine, and cast 2 hollow ones. That could possibly have won the game. Okay, opponent's on a mult to 5. I would have kept the owner. The mana base was weak, but looting and create literally that hand is good if our arena doesn't get destroyed. That's like the only situation that hand falls apart, and that is what happened. You know, it's like it's such a small like range of the ways this goes bad for us. Dude, people love this Mindspring Merfolk. This art is crazy. Dude, I didn't even get to discard the hollow one or the Vengevine. It's easy for you to play better. If you mulligan at 6, I don't know what to tell you. You have made a mistake. If you mulligan a 6-card hand, that's Arena, double hollow one, looting, Vengevine, and another discard enabler. You have made a mistake in that mulligan. The question is showing the Vengevine. Yeah, that might have been better. But also, like, if we drew a land the next turn, we still have roots to win, which I think is relevant enough for me. But I think that's a fine critique. Okay, well, we're gonna win this one at least. All right, so we're going to game 3. We're going to keep it at 2 grudges. Yeah, let's just play the bolts. I don't think we need that much removal. Just a little bit. A little sprinkling. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand's not great, though. Got to give Merfolk a chance, I guess. And got better. They reveal a Tishana's Tidebinder, which is a good card to know about. Their hand might be low in action if they're revealing that, because typically that's the kind of card you'd want to keep hidden for a bit, right? I guess we'll graveyard that. So it is very important that this Goblin Lore resolves. I'm going to cast my Hollow One. Oh no! Where did my Hollow One go? Oh, I milled a Grudge too. Main phase 3 mana. They have a Harbinger of the Tides. Okay, then they violate main phase 3 mana, then they attack me for 3. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm not gonna. Maybe I shouldn't have even cycled the first one. We might lose this game. Hollow One give, Hollow One take away. This is 1 creature for my 3 Vengevines. So I need to draw Shark, Hollow One, or a Rootwalla. Can still draw Hollow One or Rootwalla if this resolves. Alright, guess we're dead. They play the Tide Shaper, animate the Mutavault, kill me. Better deck 1. Discard, discard, discard. This could be a turn 2 win. Puts in a mold of 6. How is this card a common? Opponent, come on. Why do you have an upkeep stop? I'm trying to cast a Burning Inquiry. It's unplayable 99.9% of time. Well, it's also like, this is such a weird common because doesn't it mess up draft? Well, this was almost just like the nuts if we had discarded this too. I shouldn't complain about this staying in my hand and these going to the graveyard, and I'm not going to. But it was very close to being perfect start. I did build a Detective's Phoenix for them. Might be like the Mardu Ketchermos deck. Oh, I was just... So if they should take the Rootwalla, right? Which is so weird because it's a Madness card. But like, if they don't take the Rootwalla, I'm really close to getting these Vengevines back. Instead, they just take the Burning Inquiry. Alright, 3rd Vengevine. Entomb. Yeah, so weird for them to for it to be right for them to take the Rootwalla. It probably was. I don't know what would be in their hand that would change my mind on that. Gambling with Inquiry Limited happened, but it was bad almost always. Yeah, I would think it's just mostly card disadvantage, unless there are synergies. Okay, so they have an Emperor. Are they going to try going after the Vengevines? They're going to try to get rid of the Phoenix. They get rid of the Phoenix. I think I'm supposed to lure. It's kind of close, obviously. Alright, well, you're still in the hand, Rootwalla. Thank you for always being by my side. I did discard a hollow one. People are so Oliphant pilled, but it's just so tough to have to Mountain Cycle in these decks. 4 Goblin Lores is not a lot. Well, you can't play more. I think Goblin Lore is a mandatory 4 of in this archetype. It is very good in this deck. Oh, another Mod Redemption. 2 of them today. Cool. Alright, we gotta get these Vengevines back. Uh-oh. I tend to cut down Inquiry when sideboarding. I do think Inquiry is worse than Lore. I usually like to leave most of them in. Alright, well, I guess we're casting another Inquiry here. Yeah, I'm out of VIP slots, unfortunately. Unless someone wants to gift about 1,000 subs. Okay, I wasn't expecting them to get back the Vengevine. They do have this Detective's Phoenix in the yard. I might get like one shot by a Ketchamos. I guess Ketchamos would be plus 6 damage, which would only be 14. Imagine if some of these lures were FOMOs, we'd be attacking with multiple Vengevines. Well, we're also, you know, what, 6-3 on the day. The deck's been looking really good. I feel like I'm really happy with my build. This is part of the Hollow One experience. They do have the Ketchamos, and they do have the Phoenix. I'm glad to see people playing this archetype again. Y'all hear the thunder? Thunder. The Winternight Stories have been really good. Been liking them a lot. So this puts them down to 1. Toast with the 8 months. Thank you. Welcome back. They do attack with the Ketchamos, which is good news. I don't think I'm winning any other way. So they're dead to a lot of stuff. Including me just hasting this Rootwalla. How can you haste it from discard? You don't have to, you can just cast it. Alright. So we won this game. Can't you discard both Winternight Rootwalla? So the problem with if you discard Rootwalla, you cast it for 0, and you're not hasting it with Arena. Instead of gambling on finding another creature for the Vengevine off the Winternight Stories, why don't we just win the game? I think I'm just running it back. No, let's play like 2 Unholy Heats. 1 Unholy Heat. Kind of like trimming a Vengevine against the Graveyard Hate too. Mardu doesn't play Solitude. Well, they're Mardu Ketchamos. They're not Mardu Energy. You can play Solitude in that build. It's a little bit weird with the Ketchamos plan, but it also like is mana value 5 for Ketchamos. So I don't know if they have Solitude or not. Like we played Detective's Phoenix Ketchamos a while ago. I don't think I had Solitude in our build. Can take a look. Yeah, I was not playing any in this build, but obviously this was months ago and I don't know where they've landed. This build was pretty nice. This build has 16 non-creature draw discard spells, seems like a lot. I mean, they're good with each other, and they're really good in the deck. You can play FOMO if you want to. I definitely don't mind FOMO. It's been going really well today, and we've been winning a lot, for whatever that's worth. Joho with the 18, thank you. The reanimate troll line was good enough to get a banned in Legacy. I'm surprised it doesn't make the cut any place in Modern. Well, we sure don't have the card Reanimated Modern. We have Persist, which is 2 mana, 2 mana 5/4 instead of 1 mana 6/5. Also, like, wasn't that ban was that ban controversial at all? Like the fact that like they banned Troll instead of Reanimate feels a little silly to me. It wasn't controversial. Okay. Entomb was the ban. Entomb should have been the ban, or it literally was the ban. Okay, they get a Graveyard Trespasser, Felia, or a Ragavan here. I feel like Legacy tries to keep the iconic cards. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. They choose Felia. Let's see if that stays in the hand here. We want less lands. Alright, guess this. And the Felia is still in the hand, unfortunately. They also made, I guess, the Reed of Glory is in the yard. So is 5/4, 5/6 not the same turn 4 clock? It's not the same. In a format with fetch lands, the 2 damage is usually a whole turn less. Also, reanimating at turn 1 versus turn 2 is like, it's like actually 2 turns faster. Well, I guess you could do it turn 2. It is only turn 2 with reanimate, isn't it? Yeah, Force of Will takes a damage. Like, you know, people don't just start at 20, stay at 20. All right, well, we'll see if they have the land to escape the Flage. If they do, we'll just go to game 3. They play Petal? Okay, never mind. All right, let's go to game 3 here. I think on the play, we'll just get the 4th Vengevine back in there. Blood Moon. That's a very greedy Blood Moon. Yeah, I personally would like it if Legacy just didn't have commander cards in it. But I'm also like not much of a Legacy player these days, and I don't know if that's the I don't want to speak for the Legacy gamers. I feel like Hollow One lists used to have Leyline of Void in the sideboard. They used to, but there are barely any graveyard decks in Modern these days. In fact, the main one is Hollow One. So they probably take the Hollow One over the looting. They might take the looting. They did take the looting. Okay. Ooh, baby. Going to be better to 1 mana Hollow One and Phoenix than Arena of Glory, I think. Going to be a close game here, I think. All right. How's the Blue Splash felt so far? Winternight Stories has been great for both leagues so far. To me, it seems like Winternight Stories is going to find a home in the archetype. I mean, they could have Solitude Ephemerate. The only top commander card is probably Pyroglyph. That's a good feedback. I think the initiative of the Monarch cards, you know, I'm a big hater of those, but if they're not seeing a lot of play in Legacy right now, that's nice. No, Magical, I don't want to see a Phoenix list, thank you. Just off of it. I know you're playing a bunch of gut shots, and that's not going to get me to play the deck. Okay, so we went 7-3 with Hollow, Winternight, Fog. I don't know how you would call it exactly. I do wonder like if there are not enough Bowmasters to warrant the Lightning Bolts. I know a lot of people just think Lightning Bolts is an important card. But I mostly think you kind of have to play this for Bowmaster, but if they're just kind of are no Bowmasters again, maybe you get the FOMOs back in that way. Yeah, I know you're playing Gutshot Surgical, main. It's like, this is the Phoenix Cope route. Phoenix isn't well positioned. Gutshot Surgical, and then it's still just not very good. Like, so that's about where I'm at. Okay, I think I want to take a look at this Is It list real quick. What are my thoughts on Goblin Lore? I think Goblin